Are we live? You started recording and you didn't do the thing. Hey yo, what's up guys? Welcome back to another episode of To Whom It May Concern. I am Steven, this is Will, and today Will's eating dinner on camera because, you know, that's just what people do. He's apparently not going to say anything. I'm just going to have to carry this entire episode. So, first order of business.
Okay. I just wanted to start this episode by doing that just to see how you would react. Like, the beginning of all these episodes are so formulaic with my formulaic.
They are. You say the same thing.
I had to switch something up now. Give me a little credit.
You did do that. You certainly switched it up.
Yeah. I'm actually in the middle of eating dinner, and then Steven called me and was like, hey, we got a podcast to do. I'm like, oh yeah, that's right.
It was the other way around from what it usually is. Usually it's him calling me, wondering why I haven't joined yet. Because I said I was going to be available at this time, and then I wasn't.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we were supposed to have another person on today as a special guest. But then this guy decided not to return my calls.
Yeah, well, that's because I had to leave earlier than I thought I did, and I didn't get told until, like, the day of, so... And I texted Will that afterward, and he was like, yeah, that's what I figured.
Yeah. So that special guest I'm talking about will have to be here next time. Because of scheduling conflicts. Before you begin the normal part of the episode, I would like to mention that I have a couple of things that some people from work would like to say. So, okay.
That staff member Bailey, I may have told you about him before. I said, what did he want said on the podcast? And he literally, after thinking about it for like 15 minutes, he said, why don't people want to work? So
because people are lazy.
Yeah, that sounds fair enough. And then the other person I asked was Ryan.
And by the way, before we go any further, I just wanted to comment. I have a new microphone. So the reason why I'm speaking to the side like this is because I got a microphone.
You had to keep it in frame.
But no, I don't have a comfortable place to put it in frame. I'd have to put it on top of my keyboard.
That just sounds like a frame issue.
No, it's more like a room issue. Because like down here, it's just nothing but keyboard. It's not. I can't really show that well. And then besides that, there's this open space and then my legs.
Anyway,
so
it sounds
fine. It sounds fine where it's at right now.
Yeah, it does sound fine. It sounds fine. Yeah. The other person is Ryan, and he's basically like almost a manager, but like not quite a manager position. But I asked him as I was walking out of the door what he wanted said on the podcast, and he said, "Yo, mama." Yes, that's actually what he said.
Yo, mama. Me when your mom.
I find it funny that that's actually what he said. But you gotta realize, this is a professional guy working a professional job.
It is a valid thing to say.
Obviously, Publix promotes the only the best in professionalism.
So what game are you playing during the podcast this time?
None of the above.
I didn't give any options. How can it be none of the above? Explain that for me, Steven.
Don't worry about it.
I'm gonna worry about it. You're appearing offline, so I can't see.
That's because I'm not logged into that account.
Alright, so until we say otherwise, it's gonna be canon that he's playing My Hello Kitty Adventure Game, Volume 2.
I didn't even know that was a thing, to be fair.
It's probably not, I made it up, but until you say otherwise, that's gonna be canon. This guy plays Hello Kitty. He watches Hello Kitty during the podcast.
Made it up. He just made it up, chat. You hear that?
What chat? What chat? We're not even live. We're literally recording this ahead of time.
Yeah, but I'm speaking.
Like, you see that watermark? This is not a live stream thing.
I'm speaking to the comments section and referring to them as chat.
Who does that?
Me.
Comment
obviously.
section. Who does that? Well, you and what army?
I don't know. Who says I need an army?
Alright, so after I finish this, we're gonna move on to something.
Yes, something. My favorite game.
I hope you're finding this entertaining.
I really hope you do. Because if you don't, then we're not doing our jobs correctly, and that would be a bad thing.
Alright, so Steven.
Hi.
I think I've told you this before. But I'm kind of a big deal now. I just acted my first Hollywood debut.
He likes to think of himself as a big shot now because he's apparently acted
just to give context. I have a film class that I'm in called Film Tech, and in it we were learning about how to light a scene, and we were using a scene from The Matrix as like a reference for like how to light things. It's a whole bunch of technical stuff, and I was chosen to be Trinity, the catcher from the movie, to be like a stand-in for like these lighting things. Like there's a you're not going to get any of these terms, but there's a key light, there's an edger, there's a backlight, there's a whole bunch of other things. But you have to put gels, diffusions, a bunch of stuff.
There's going to be that one film major in the comments who's going to be like, "Oh yeah, I understood every bit of that."
And all of these things took multiple days, and that gave us 20 seconds of content.
That is how movies are produced. Why do you think that it takes like years to produce an hour of content?
Exactly. I mean, there's some that do it in shorter time. Like I saw this one thing that I have no idea if this is true. I'm pretty sure this is not true. But apparently, there's this movie, Tyler Perry. I'm pretty sure you have no idea who that is, but he made a movie called Boo, or something like that. And apparently, it only took 6 days to make an hour and a half full-length film. And I find that very hard to believe. Incredibly hard to believe.
If you had everybody working like full time and nobody took any breaks at all, then like maybe.
It doesn't matter how hard you work them. That's still impossible. Like, depending on how many shots are in the movie, like, a film on average, I forgot the exact numbers, but it's like in the hundreds and thousands. Hundreds.
Sounds about right.
Shots. Well, not even hundreds. It's like thousands of shots. I forget the exact number, but it's basically each of those shots takes a while to like set up the lighting for. Not to mention you gotta take multiple takes because all these actors, no matter how good they are, they're gonna take extra takes.
Yeah, it's always good to have like room for error.
Yeah. So the fact that they made it in 6 days and made an hour and a half movie, incredibly hard to believe. So, but the reason why I bring it up is because it's just something that I found interesting that I've heard somewhere before. And I've always wondered, like, how would you be able to? Because for context, over the Christmas break, my college, I think I might have said this before in another podcast episode, but my college made a short film called First Sock Academy.
Yeah, you did. You actually showed me that.
And the whole thing took about 6 days to make that. However, the thing is, it's a short film, meaning that it's going to be like 10 minutes at like around that length. So the fact that they made an hour and a half long movie in 6 days, and 6 days is for the filming of that short film. This is implying it's 6 days to shoot and edit the movie. Like, what do you think?
I mean, I still think that it could technically be done with enough dedication. It's just, like, that it would take a lot of dedication.
Well, I mean, I will say the only thing that makes it kind of believable is the fact that Tyler Perry movies, first off, they're comedies, and the thing is, while there is some action that happens in his movies, because I haven't seen this one movie that apparently took 6 days. I heard it's not very good, but I've seen other Tyler Perry movies. And
if they made it in 6 days, then yeah, it's probably not very good.
Yeah. Like, there's no way
you can make a movie in 6 days. It's just, there's no guarantee it's actually going to be any good.
I mean, you can make a movie in 1 day. I'm not guaranteeing that it's going to be good.
Yeah, exactly. That's my point.
Going to be a movie that was made in a day.
It's not surprising that it took them like 6 days to make. The thing is, it may have taken them 6 days to make.
But the fact is, it doesn't matter how bad, because like when it comes to bad, it's like the writing and the acting was incredibly bad. But like the lighting was all set up like competently. And again, this is from what I've seen. I haven't seen the entire movie.
They put all the film budget in the lighting.
No, they put all the effort in the lighting. Like with the acting, it's just like one take, boom, done. On to the next one. We got like 10 minutes to each shot, if even that. So yeah. And that's one topic down, which means more footage of me eating. We're turning into a mukbang.
Pretty much.
We're turning into a mukbang right now.
Yeah, it turned into that one fat guy that there's always shorts about.
Nikocado Avocado, I believe his name is.
I don't know. I'm too uncultured to know names like that.
Did you know? No. I think you know. I think that's the name. That's the guy you're talking about, right? The one with the spiky hair and often wears red shirt.
I forgot what his hair looks like. He's just really, really fat.
Yeah. Did you know that guy actually made a podcast? He made a podcast.
I'm not surprised. Everyone's making podcasts nowadays.
No. What was surprising about it was like he's always this. He's a very polarizing figure. Like literally, it's polarizing because it's so big. But also, and here comes the comments. It's just like Will's being fatphobic. It's like here's the thing. I'm not one to talk.
Yeah, that's the thing.
At this.
Like, Will can't really say anything.
Look what I'm eating. Seriously, look at what I'm eating. I'm not sponsored, but like, look at what I'm eating. I am not one to talk, technically. However,
yes, this video is sponsored by Little Caesars.
Just know that I make fun of everyone equally. This is, as Filthy Frank puts it, it's prejudice equality. Everybody. I can't swear, but everybody gets crap. Basically. But yeah, what I was trying to say was he has this character to an extent that he portrays in all his videos. And this character of his is like always like he like cries at like every little thing. I think you've seen maybe memes of it before.
I know who you're talking about that guy. Yeah, that's who I was talking about. I know that guy.
It's just like this one where he like had a plate of chicken and then someone throws on it and it's just like something like that.
Yeah.
So it's always like that. So the fact that
things.
And he plays that character during the podcast. And he tries to maintain it, but there's funny moments where he like breaks character. And for a few seconds he actually looks like a real like a actual person.
Like a real person.
Like, oh yeah. It's just like for the rest of it, it's just like oh. This is one of the other things he does. He often makes this face just like where it literally looks like he's holding in a fart, just like and he keeps up that persona. And there's just instances where he breaks character. He's just like, oh yeah, that's fine. And then it's like, oh wait, I'm supposed to character up.
Character.
Just like. Alright, so if we analyze the sounds that are coming from Steven's mic, it sounds like he's banging on metal right now, just like bang, 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 bang.
What do you mean?
If I
sounds?
had to guess,
what do you mean sounds coming from my mic?
We're hearing it. We're hearing it. At least I am.
Who's we?
The audience. Or as you would put it, the chat. The chat can hear it.
Chat.
Your words, not mine. That's all I'm gonna say.
I mean, I wasn't arguing.
You were saying, who are we? Or don't worry about it. It sounds like you were arguing, so I'm just gonna point that out. We're gonna title this video, they get into an argument about whether or not Steven was arguing.
I mean, that happens on a daily basis.
Yeah. Alright. Let me finish this, and we'll move on to the next topic. Alright, so Steven.
What?
Okay, before we get into it, that's another formulaic thing I do. Whenever I introduce these topics, I'm always just like, Steven.
So, Steven.
Yeah. Alright. So, Steven. Here's the next topic. Alright, so, admittedly, I am a little late to talk about this because this show, like, not many people are really caring about it anymore as much as they were last month. But this is the HBO Max show called
Yeah,
Velma.
I've never seen it.
But you know what I'm talking about, though, right?
Probably not. I've never really done anything or seen anything from HBO Max.
Alright, so to give certain context, you know Scooby-Doo, right? Everyone knows Scooby-Doo.
I mean, I've heard of it. I've never really watched it.
You've never seen Scooby-Doo? What?
I said I've...
Okay, hold on. That's actually crazy. Hold on. No, I can't let that slide. I can't... You can say you haven't seen all the other stuff I talked about, because that's fine.
I said I've heard of it.
Seen Scooby-Doo?
I've heard of it.
Seen Scooby-Doo?
I've heard of it.
Childhood.
I've heard of it.
Childhood. If you've never seen Scooby-Doo, I can't let that slide. Okay, wow.
I mean, I've seen like clips of it.
But have you never seen like a full episode or full
Like
movie?
I know what it's about.
That upsets me, actually. The fact that you've never seen it. Man, I thought out of everything I've said, this would be the one thing you've been like, oh yeah, I've seen multiple of those shows, I've seen multiple of those movies, but no, you've never seen them. That blows my mind.
He's having a mental breakdown over the fact that I'm uncultured.
Let me do a Nikocado avocado type freak out, just like. I don't know what else he does other than those two things.
I've only seen like 5-second clips of him in shorts, so.
I do know one other thing he does. Whenever he also plays the violin every once in a while. Like, he's really good at it, but like whenever he does it, before he does like a violin thing, he always just like you know that thing teachers do when trying to shut the class, just like
Yeah.
Alright. I'm getting off topic.
What do you mean off topic? We don't have a topic. This is just the Everything Podcast. That's what we're going to change the name to, the Everything Podcast.
Well, I would have it as an Everything Podcast if you actually knew everything that I was talking about. Or at least I don't know.
At least had a childhood.
Yeah, because apparently you didn't have one because you never saw Scooby-Doo. So yeah, that's the topic. All right,
we're making a very big deal over the fact that I've never seen a children's TV show.
Well, for me, it is a big deal. But that's going to be besides the point. I'm gonna let it go just for the sake of moving along. But yeah, that's going to be a good clip. That's going to be a good clip. I mean, just like...
Will has a mental breakdown because Steven's never seen Scooby-Doo.
Yes, that's gonna be the title. Okay. So you know what Scooby-Doo is. You've never seen it, but you know of it. Do you know, at the very least, the characters? Like Fred, Shaggy,
I know
Velma,
Scooby,
Daphne,
obviously,
Scooby-Doo.
and I know Shaggy, like the green shirt one. I don't think I know any of the other ones.
The stoner. He's never said to be a stoner, but he's kind of obviously a stoner. Like, it makes a little too much sense.
Like, from what I know...
It makes a little too much sense. I'm just saying.
From what I know of his character, it does kind of seem like it.
Okay, so... he's always talking like... Wait, hold on. I'm trying to... I can do the Shaggy voice. It's like, oh, Sonic Scoops. I'm Shaggy. This is what he sounds like. It's probably a horrible impression, but it's like...
I mean, I don't really have a good idea. I don't really have a good idea of what he sounds like to begin with, so... Like, I've heard him before, obviously, but I don't have, like, a really good idea of it.
So, all of these characters, they were in several movies, several shows. Everybody loved them because they were super likable characters. Even though they had a few flaws, they were always likable to watch. And they always solved mysteries. And the Scooby-Doo dog was an popular
icon.
Little cultural... What's the word I'm looking for?
Icon. It's literally just an icon.
Pop culture icon. Yeah, I know he's an icon, but like what kind? Like pop culture. That's kind of what I was trying to get at, but yeah. So, with all that being said, this new Velma show completely takes the Scooby-Doo franchise and absolutely just craps all over it. So
that sounds like
basically
what modern TV shows do. Like modern TV shows that are based off of older like cartoon type stuff. It seems like they just like completely changed the idea.
Right. So basically, this what they did is they made the show about Velma, one of the other characters. And the show's creator, Minden Kaling, I think her name is, I forgot. She voices this Velma character, and basically changes her personality of Velma to this like very cynical, it's always insulting other people, and they change all the characters to make them all kind of jerks, basically. And another thing, and this is going to get a little political, and I'm really not trying to make it. They also race swap a lot of these, so they make Velma, I think, Indian.
Well, like they already have I just have to comment, like they already have representatives from both sides, I guess, if you want to say it like that. So like, what's the point of doing that if they already like have?
Well, I mean, the thing is, like, all the characters from the other show were white, and I think they were scared that they weren't being representative enough of all cultures, so they made Velma an Indian or.
Why does it matter? I've hated like
they made Daphne an Asian. I forgot what kind they say she is, and this is the most controversial one. They made Shaggy. They made him black, and they changed his name to Norville and completely changed his looks. And
why?
Despite that, he's still the best character. Here's the thing. Despite that, from what I've seen, he's still the best character because he's the only one written as not a jerk. He's the only one that's written to be likable. And even then, they still mess it up by making him, like... Okay, so... I'd be here all day if I were to explain all the specifics wrong with the show. And the thing that I wanted to talk about more is less having to do with the show itself and more having to do with people's reaction to it. Because literally, and I mean literally, no one likes this. Like, there's a bunch of stuff that people generally don't like, but there's still like a small fan base for it. Like, you know what I'm talking about, like the Emoji Movie.
Yeah.
When the Emoji Movie, when it came out, a bunch of people hated it, but there were still a few people who came in defense of it. With this show, literally no one liked it. And it almost became sort of a world peace thing where everyone was able to come together to collectively hate on this. Imagine making a show that literally brings the world together.
In my
literally
opinion,
brings the world together, or go ahead.
Any show that can do that, like if your show is so bad that it can literally accomplish the impossible in a bad way, then like I don't even know what to say at that point.
Yeah. And hold on. And one more thing I'm going to say about it that pertains to everyone hating it. And I know I'm going to get a little political with this, but this show tried so hard to appeal to the left, and even they hated it. Like, so both sides of the political spectrum hated it. As one comment put it, do you have any idea how hard it is to get them to agree on anything? Like,
that is true. That is true.
So that's pretty impressive. Like, getting both sides to agree on something. Like, that is impressive. And I almost respect Minden Kaling for doing
almost.
This. It's just... But when it comes to making a show that's based on Scooby-Doo, when it comes to that, absolutely terrible. Didn't even try. You might as well... A lot of people have said this and pointed this out, but there was no point in making them related to Scooby-Doo. They only... Well, okay. I think they do solve mysteries in this. Again, I haven't seen it. I've only seen clips and videos of people talking about it. But you might as well have not even made them like the Scooby-Doo characters, right?
Yeah. Basically, they just completely changed their character.
And here's the thing. The show's not even aimed at kids. Like, it's an adult animated show. Like, and I mean, I'm not saying that's an inherently bad thing. However, when you do have these characters that are tied to kids' properties, and you make it like this, it's pretty bad.
It's not a good look.
But yeah, that's all I'm going to say on that.
That was quite a rant.
So I'm on the title of this video. The Velma Show has brought world peace.
Yes.
That's what I'm going to title it. And I was... We should be thanking her. We should be thanking Mindy Kaling for making this abomination to where everyone could agree that it's terrible. We should be thanking her. Alright. So that's another topic down. I think this is my third water bottle right here.
That is a lot of water.
Yeah. So, Steven.
Yes.
Go ahead and tell us about our video sponsor while I eat this pizza.
So today's video is sponsored by Squarespace. Would you like to make a podcast of your own, but don't have the tools or the skills necessary to do it? Well, just try out Squarespace. They're a skill sharing and I just referenced another company.
Why would you make a website to make a podcast? Why would you make a website to make a podcast?
Well, it's a skill learning website. It's so you can learn how to make a podcast.
I thought you said it was Squarespace. Squarespace is a website making.
I don't even know my companies. Leave me alone.
We're never going to get sponsorships again because of you.
Sounds about right.
Want to try again?
Sponsor us, Squarespace. As you can see, it will do your company good.
Mm-hmm. Good advertising right there.
As I was saying, this video is sponsored by Skillshare, which is what I was actually talking about. So it's a learning and sharing website where you can teach other people and get taught. So if you have a skill that you'd like to share with others, you can put it on there. And if you have a skill that you would like to learn more about, then you can probably find it on Skillshare. And right now, we're offering a special promotion just for our viewers that will give you 99% off of your first infinite amount of time. So you can basically get the entire program for free. Just go to this definitely not suspicious looking link that is displayed on screen now. Also, for legal purposes, we're not actually sponsored. Anyway.
I swear, by the time we actually do get a sponsorship and we try to do it, no one's going to believe that it's an actual sponsorship.
Yes.
So no one's going to click on the link, and we're going to make them no money, and we're going to go to jail.
Just the way it should be.
All right. so I think I've mentioned before that I don't know if I mentioned this before, but the way I get my topics
is by just pulling them.
Or either when I take a shower and I have like those shower thoughts.
Yes.
Or
you heard it here first, folks. The topics we discuss on our podcast
or when I go to sleep. Hey, you know how when you're sleeping and you start thinking about weird things as you're trying to go to sleep?
No, I don't.
Because like it's dark. There's no sound, so that allows your mind to like explore and just like go haywire.
Of all the words you could have chosen, you chose explore.
Yeah, it leaves your scalp and it goes exploring.
Yes.
Like as you sleep, your brain just walks out.
Yeah, that's just what dreams are. That's just your brain going on an adventure.
Right there, boom. That's perfect. Yes, we finally figured out dreams. Yes, that's what it is.
A concept scientists have been trying to wrap their heads around for years. We just proved
that
it
makes
right here.
That makes perfect sense. Actually, okay. Yeah, go ahead.
You ever wonder why it's so hard to wake up from a dream? Well, that's just because your brain has to climb back into your head first.
Yes. That's why sometimes when you wake up with a headache, or like with bad head. That's what happens, like when the scalp isn't put back on quite correctly.
Yeah, it just gives you a bit of a headache.
Okay. So I say that to say this.
Sit down, Einstein.
Speaking of how long it takes scientists to figure out something, I was sleeping one night and I just thought of something.
As you do.
How do we think? Like, okay, so imagine you're thinking of a song. You think about that song, you got a song stuck in your head, and when you're thinking about it, you don't hear the song literally, but you can still hear it in your mind. How does that work?
If I start thinking about a song, I literally just hear it, like the song itself. It's like oh yeah, that one song that goes like that.
But how does that work? Like, you're able to think of it and you're able to hear it in your mind without hearing anything in real life. Like, how does that work?
Imagination.
But how does that even work? I'm genuinely curious. I'm sure that you could just Google this and find the answer, but like,
yeah.
So like, whenever I'm laying in bed, and I'm just sleeping, and then I just start thinking about it, and I'm just like,
you're just thinking while sleeping? Respect.
I'm hearing nothing, but I'm able to tell what I'm thinking about. Like, that's just something we do on a daily basis. But when you stop and really do think about it, it's a little weird in concept.
I think it's because if you really think about it, which is what you're doing, so shouldn't be hard. If you really think about it, the way that the brain works, like the way that your ears work, is the sound comes into your ears, and your ears have a mechanism for detecting sound waves, but your brain has to mentally process that into a form that it can understand. Like, you can't just understand raw sound waves. Your brain has to process the vibrations in your ears into actual perceived sound. And so if you think about it, what's happening when you think of a sound is you're just skipping the hearing part, where instead of hearing it through your ears and your brain processing it that way, your brain is just remembering what it processed from when you heard it and just thinking of that again. So basically recalling it from memory. At least that's the way I think of it.
Yeah, and that I don't know. I find that fascinating for whatever reason. I just find that fascinating. being able to do that. I don't know.
I mean, our brains are pretty cool.
Yeah, I think brains are a pretty neat thing. There's this one SpongeBob clip where, hold on. There's this one SpongeBob clip where he opens the door and it's like, this looks neat. And then takes a step and he falls out of an airplane because he was on an airplane.
I also just got reminded of something by what you did just there. So Bailey, the person at work that is probably the most like into our podcast, he has what?
Into?
Yes.
What do you mean into? You think you're in our podcast, huh? Huh, little punk? Huh?
I'm gonna hear about that at work.
Just kidding. I love you. I don't even know who you are.
Anyway, he has made comments before about the fact that like the thing you do with your water where like you'll just be talking about something just completely normally and then you'll like pause right in the middle of saying something and drink from the water bottle and then just continue like nothing ever happened.
Hydration. Yeah, that is something I do a lot. I don't know. He commented to me that he just about that. I mean, he didn't really say he had an opinion on it. He just said it was a thing. He was just pointing it out. It's definitely a thing that happens. Yes. All right. So, Steven, do you know what time it is?
What time is it? Oh, I bet I know. It's time for the Kanye segment.
Kanye segment. Yes. So, today on Kanye segment, there's this video going around about how someone came up to him, recording him with a phone, and Kanye was in the streets, and he looked at it, and he took the phone and threw it into the traffic.
But why? That's my question.
Because he was getting harassed, like, by paparazzi and stuff. Like, Kanye West, he has a history of like, being physical with, like, paparazzi. Because, like, paparazzi is never fun to deal with. You know what paparazzi is, right?
Yeah, basically people who are just, like, just want attention from a very famous person.
It goes more than that. They're basically they're following them with pictures, like,
well, yeah, that's
following them, like, recording them. They have, like, professional cameras.
Yes,
but they're, like, following him, just like, hey, Kanye, what do you think about this thing? What do you think about this thing? Kanye.
Because people just record with their flash on, obviously.
That's what they do. And they always get super defensive of just like, Kanye, why are you being so mean to us? We're literally trying to get footage of you. You should be thankful of us. Like, that's some of the most insufferable people ever. Like, if you watch a clip of them talking, yeah. That's just so insufferable. It's just like, why do you think they don't like you? You're literally invading their space and, like, bothering them, and you think that's a good thing.
You're entering their no-no square.
With Kanye, like, his whole being is a no-no square. There's no area around that. So Kanye, someone was recording him, and he took the phone, threw it into the street out of anger.
I mean, to be fair, like, I can understand not wanting to be recorded, but that's a little bit of an overreaction, in my opinion. Like, just a little bit.
I think they're investigating it right now for whether or not he's going to be pressed with charges and whether or not this was completely justified or not, because obviously a phone costs money. And, like, usually. That's not... Like, recording him and bothering him is obviously not a cool thing to do. But, like, I will agree that is definitely an overreaction. And the clip of it happening is sort of taken a little without context. So, and from what I saw, it's not like, okay, so it's not like the person recording was like the most disruptive that they could have possibly been. But Kanye definitely has a right to privacy. Like, if he doesn't want to be recorded. Like, but at the same time, yeah, throwing it into his tree is definitely a little overreaction. I've said it already. I'm repeating myself at this point.
That's fine. It happens all the time.
Just like when I drink mid sentence. All right. So, 45 minutes in, I got one more topic.
But I just got
All right,
one more thing to ask. Can you beat
All right. So, Steven.
Yes.
I feel like I always start a lot of topics off like this, where I ask you whether you know something, and 9 times out of 10 you say no.
Because I usually don't.
But Steven, do you know what Riz is?
I have heard the term. I'm not completely familiar with what it means.
Okay. I was kind of the same way too, until a month or two ago, when I actually figured out what it meant. So basically, Riz is basically seduction, like another word for seduction, and like being able to like, it's basically this aura of just like being smooth and being able to pick up ladies and stuff.
I see.
Like, there's this song. I'm not able to play it like mid podcast unless I take a phone. Well, not even because it's copyright. Like, well, I mean, I have a phone and I have a microphone. So if I
just say it,
so if
just
I really
say it's
want
for
to,
copyright reasons.
Sure, why not? Basically, the song that goes, "Sin City wasn't made for you."
Oh yeah,
and
no,
like
I've heard that. I've heard that in like memes and stuff.
So that's what it is. And there's another thing going on called the light skin stare, where it's basically like the Riz look. Where, and every time you do it, you say you got the Riz stare. I bring this up because
I've seen memes popping up around the place that like mention that kind of stuff.
Right.
See, and modern culture is fine. It's just the old stuff that I'm not familiar with.
Well, I mentioned modern culture to you before, and you're like, what is that? Like, I can't think of an example off the top of my head, but it's definitely happened before. It's happened enough to know you're uncultured, whether it be modern or old. But at least with this one, I guess if it's like super, super current, I guess you can get that. Yeah. But basically, the reason why I bring it up is because what's funny was in the Discord. By the way, I'm gonna plug the Discord again. Description.
We have to do it every episode. We have a to-do list for every episode. Will takes a drink from a water bottle mid-sentence. Kanye segment. Plug the Discord. Fake sponsorship.
Actually, this reminds me of a meme of like, we're gonna make the Who Make a Stand podcast starter pack.
Yes,
and we're gonna list all these traits. We're gonna list all these traits. Just like Will drinking water. Fake sponsorship. Steven playing games during the podcast. The Kanye segment. Starting the episode with, hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Who Make a Stand. We are back once again with another episode. I am Will, you're Steven. Starting it off exactly like that.
He's got the script down. You can tell that it's a repetitive thing.
And, of course, to top it off, by having my screen and your screen being 1 second out of sync. Because this program, you've complained about it before, and I agree it's not the best. But
it's a little more than 1 second, to be fair. I will say. It's just a little bit more.
Probably, yeah. I think what really made it prominent that there was a delay to begin with was, I think it was either last episode or episode. I think it was last episode where I had my roommate come in and I put the speaker on, and that caused an echo. But the echo, like the time frame between what you said and the echo, was super off. Like, yeah, it was like 2 seconds, I believe it was.
Something. It was several seconds of delay. Yeah.
I don't think it was several seconds. I think that's a little over exaggeration, but I will say it was definitely like 2 to 3 seconds around there. So, all right, and in his Hello Kitty game, Steven has sharpened his sword, and he is now scratching a bunch of rocks and scratching a bunch of discs and chalkboards, creating that scratching sound.
He has no idea what I'm doing.
Again, until you say what game you're playing, it's canon that you're playing Hello Kitty, My Hello Kitty Adventure Part 5 DLC.
DLC. Because there's definitely DLC for a game based on a kid's show that's really dead by now.
Yeah, I don't even know what Hello Kitty is. Like, what is the plot of Hello Kitty?
I have no idea.
This could be a topic on its own. Yeah, we're
gonna have an entire podcast episode just on Hello Kitty.
Actually, hold on. Before I do that, I was going on with something, and then we got distracted. So basically, the reason why I wanted to talk about Riz was because I think I mentioned our Discord fan, the_Lord69. He brought up a screenshot of when I did like an eyebrow thing in the last episode. He's like, "You got that Riz, Mr. Will."
Oh yeah, I remember seeing that.
And I so badly wanted to try to give like an actual stare, but I'm afraid I'm going to do it so horribly that we can't even laugh at it in an ironic sense. It's just going to be cringy.
Well, that's just this entire podcast, to be honest.
Alright, yeah, you know what? At this point, yeah, we might as well just go all out. I'm gonna pull it up and I'm gonna try it. Alright, you have to give me a second because ads are a thing.
Yes, YouTube monetization. Wouldn't be YouTube without ads.
I don't even know when it starts. That was probably so bad.
I mean, I heard it.
No, I'm talking about this actual look I gave. I don't even know what I did.
Oh, I wasn't looking.
The glasses off.
I wasn't looking.
I take the glasses off for it. Like, that's probably so bad. If me acknowledging it's bad, it's probably not even going to help. Like, I don't think self-deprecation jokes are going to make it better. While Steven is looking off to the side, I'm going to do the same and come back with
the side,
a food item in my hand.
I'm not looking off to the side. You're looking off to the side.
Mm-hmm. All right. So what else were we going to talk? Oh, yeah. So I just want to finish that topic. And
we transitioned directly
about
we transitioned
what
directly
is Hello Kitty?
What
is Hello Kitty?
Well, you see, the problem is I also have no way to answer that question, so I can't really help shed light on that situation.
So you know what? I have a solution. Instead of trying to figure out what it's about, we're going to make up what it's about. And we can do whatever we want with the plot of it. So and whatever we say it's canon, whatever we say it's about, it's canon because no one else also knows. No one else knows.
It's just about a cat, and the only thing they can say is hello.
And the show is actually a commentary about how capitalism will crash in on itself.
Yes.
And also
the cat is trying to communicate. The cat is just trying to communicate that concept using only the word hello.
Yes. It's just like, hello, hello. Translation, the government is lying.
Yes.
Like, different tempo and different tone of hello, like, is the key, and we need to decipher it. And there's a whole government conspiracy.
Yes.
In Hello Kitty. And that's the only character that anyone knows. So, in the show,
Hollywood, hire us to write a show.
In the show, Hello Kitty goes to school with Dwayne The Rock Johnson and John Cena as Hello Kitty's best friends. And they go to school where Shaquille O'Neal is the teacher, and he teaches the class about communism. And then during lunch, they eat food prepared by Gordon Ramsay, and they eat lunch talking about how they're going to start a Mindy Kaling religion based on the fact that she brought world peace with Velma. And then after they eat lunch, they're gonna go to the gym where the teacher is Ron Weasley from Harry Potter, and the sport they play is basketball, where the other team that Hello Kitty and her friends have to face off against is the entire Miami Heat basketball team, and Hello Kitty and her friends win that game, and then that's the entire episode of a single episode of Hello Kitty. And no one can tell me otherwise, because let's be honest, you watching, you don't know what it's about either. Don't look it up. Don't have said you know it after looking it up, after watching this. You don't know what it's about either.
I don't, so...
I don't even remember how Hello Kitty got brought up. I think it was me trying to guess what game you were playing.
It was because you were trying to figure out what game I was playing, and you're like, well, until he tells us it's gonna be canon that he's playing Hello Kitty.
Yeah. And I can now see what game you're playing because for some reason Discord is now telling me. All right, so everyone, see.